Logic is the art of thinking in a straight line. It is a tool for taking things apart to see how they work, one piece at a time. When we use logic, we follow rules and steps, moving from one point to the next in a clear, predictable sequence. It's kind of like building a staircase, where each step must be solid before you can place the next one. This method gives us a sense of control and certainty, allowing us to build arguments, solve equations, and design machines with precision. Logic demands proof and evidence, rejecting anything that cannot be measured or explained in a systematic way. It is the language of science, mathematics, and law, a way of mapping the world so that it makes sense to our rational minds. Intuition, on the other hand, is not a straight line but a sudden flash of light. It's a way of knowing that does not follow a clear path of steps. Instead, it arrives as a complete whole, a feeling or an insight that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Intuition is the mind's ability to grasp the big picture, to see the connections between things without having to analyze each part separately. It speaks in hunches, gut feelings, and moments of sudden understanding. This form of knowing is not about taking things apart, but about seeing how they fit together in a larger pattern. It is the wisdom of the heart, the artist and the mystic, a direct perception of reality that bypasses the slow, careful process of reason. These two ways of knowing can feel like they are from different worlds. Logic is structured, verbal, and conscious, while intuition is often formless, non-verbal, and rooted in the subconscious. One seeks to define and categorize, to put the world into neat boxes so it can be managed. The other seeks to experience the world as it is, in all its flowing, interconnected complexity. Logic is the architect's blueprint, detailed and exact, while intuition is the musician's improvisation, spontaneous and alive. We often think we must choose between them, as if one is superior to the other. But honestly, this is like asking if breathing in is more important than breathing out. The truth is that both are essential functions of a complete human mind. Logic gives us the power to analyze, organize, and build, providing the structure we need to navigate the physical world effectively. It allows us to communicate complex ideas with clarity and to solve practical problems with reliable methods. Intuition, in contrast, provides the spark of creativity, the moral compass, and the deep sense of connection that gives life meaning. It guides us when the map of logic runs out, helping us make decisions in situations where the facts are incomplete or ambiguous. To neglect one in favor of the other is to live with only half of our true capacity for understanding. The Western tradition, for many centuries, has built its house on the solid foundation of logic. This journey began with the ancient Greeks, thinkers like Aristotle who created systems for reasoning and classifying the world. They believed that through careful observation and step-by-step deduction, humanity could uncover the universal laws that govern existence. This was a revolutionary idea, that the world was not just a stage for chaotic gods, but a rational, ordered place that could be understood by the human mind. This love for reason laid the groundwork for Western philosophy, science, and governance, creating a culture that values clear arguments and verifiable facts above all else. The straight line became the ideal path to truth. This emphasis on logic reached its peak during the Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries. Thinkers of this era championed reason as the ultimate tool for freeing humanity from ignorance and superstition. They applied the principles of scientific inquiry to everything, from the movement of the planets to the nature of human society. The world was seen as a giant clockwork machine, and the job of the intelligent person was to figure out how its gears and levers worked. This mechanical view gave rise to the Industrial Revolution and the incredible technological advancements that have shaped the modern age. In this worldview, anything that could not be measured, quantified, and explained by logic was often dismissed as unimportant or unreal. In modern Western societies, this legacy is visible everywhere. Our education systems are designed to teach children how to think critically, solve problems logically, and present their ideas in a structured way. From an early age, we learn to break down subjects into their component parts, memorizing facts and formulas to pass examinations. In business and leadership, decisions are expected to be data-driven, supported by spreadsheets, charts, and market analysis. The ideal leader is often seen as a cool, rational strategist who can make tough choices without being swayed by emotion or gut feeling. We have become masters of the blueprint, experts in taking the world apart. However, this relentless focus on the logical and the measurable has come with a cost. By placing such a high value on analytical thought, the Western world has sometimes neglected the other side of the mind. Intuition, creativity, and emotional intelligence have often been treated as soft skills, secondary to the hard facts and figures of rational analysis. This can lead to a kind of spiritual dryness, a feeling of being disconnected from nature, from others, and from the deeper, unspoken currents of life. When we try to measure everything, we risk forgetting that the most important things in life, love, beauty, joy, cannot be captured by numbers on a page. The straight line, followed too rigidly, can lead to a dead end. In many Eastern traditions, the path to wisdom takes a different turn. It is less a straight line and more a meandering river, flowing with the natural contours of the land. Instead of trying to take the world apart, the goal is to experience it as a seamless whole. This approach is rooted in intuition, a direct and intimate knowing that arises from a quiet and attentive mind. Philosophies like Daoism in China teach the concept of wu wei, or effortless action, which means acting in harmony with the natural flow of things, rather than trying to force outcomes through rigid plans. The wise person in this view does not rely on complex strategies, but on a deep, intuitive sense of the right moment and the right action. Zen Buddhism, which flourished in Japan, offers another powerful example of this intuitive way of knowing. Zen training is not about learning doctrines or memorizing scriptures. Instead, it uses practices like meditation and paradoxical riddles called koans to help students break free from the prison of their logical minds. The goal is to achieve satori, a sudden moment of enlightenment or intuitive awakening, where one directly experiences the interconnected nature of all existence. This is not a conclusion reached through argument, but a direct perception that transcends words and concepts. It is the realization that you are not separate from the world you observe, but a part of its continuous unfolding. Confucianism, while deeply concerned with social order and ethics, also contains a strong intuitive element. It emphasizes the cultivation of ren, or human-heartedness, which is a kind of moral intuition that guides a person to act with compassion and propriety in all situations. This is not about blindly following a set of rules, but about developing an inner sense of what is right and appropriate in the complex web of human relationships. The ideal person is not just learned, but wise, possessing an intuitive grasp of the harmony that should exist between the individual, the family, and society. This wisdom comes from reflection, experience, and a deep understanding of human nature itself. This focus on intuition shapes many aspects of Eastern cultures. In traditional arts, such as calligraphy or ink wash painting, the artist does not aim for a photographic reproduction of reality. Instead, the goal is to capture the chi, or life energy of the subject, with a few spontaneous, intuitive brushstrokes. In medicine, systems like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine look at the body as a whole system of interconnected energies, rather than a collection of separate parts. Diagnosis often relies on the practitioner's intuitive sense as much as on observable symptoms. This holistic, intuitive approach encourages a way of being that is more about feeling and flowing than about analyzing and controlling. It is tempting to draw a sharp line, placing logic in the West and intuition in the East. But this is a simplification that misses the beautiful complexity of human culture. Western history is filled with brilliant intuitives, mystics, poets, and artists who saw beyond the limits of reason. Likewise, Eastern history is home to incredible achievements in science, mathematics, and engineering, all of which required rigorous, logical thought. The reality is that both cultures have always used both modes of knowing. The difference lies in which one they have tended to celebrate and elevate as the primary path to truth. The West built its monuments to reason, while the East built its temples to stillness. Today, these two great streams of thought are flowing together in new and exciting ways. In the world of science, some physicists exploring the strange nature of quantum reality find that their discoveries sound more like ancient Eastern mysticism than classical mechanics. They are learning that the universe is not a machine but a dynamic, interconnected web, a truth that requires intuitive leaps as much as logical equations. In the world of business, leaders are beginning to understand that data alone cannot guide a company. They are embracing mindfulness and emotional intelligence, recognizing that the best decisions come from a blend of sharp analysis and deep gut feeling. This integration is perhaps most needed in how we approach the challenges facing our world. Problems like climate change, social division, and spiritual emptiness cannot be solved with logic alone. They are too complex, too deeply rooted in human values and behaviors. We need the precision of science and technology to create solutions, but we also need the intuitive wisdom to understand our connection to the planet and to each other. We need logical plans for a sustainable future, but we also need a shift in consciousness, a felt sense of our shared humanity. Logic can build a better house, but intuition is what makes it a home. Ultimately, the journey forward is not about choosing one path over the other. It is about learning to walk on 2 feet. By honoring the power of logic and embracing the wisdom of intuition, we can cultivate a more complete and balanced mind. We can learn to analyze without losing sight of the whole, and to feel without being lost in chaos. This synthesis of East and West, of reason and insight, is not just a philosophical idea. It is a practical necessity for creating a more harmonious, intelligent, and compassionate world. The future belongs not to the logical mind or the intuitive heart, but to the person who has learned to listen to both.